Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we're talking human settlements today, and today we're in Boksburg, just southeast of Johannesburg, and we're chatting to the Deputy Minister of the Department of Human Settlements, Zoliswa Kota Fredericks, and the Director General at the department as well, Tabane Zulu, and we're talking a lot of the big issues that I'm sure that many of you will have. We've got an audience here as well that will be raising questions, but you know, when it comes to winter, shelter becomes all the more important because the elements can be quite cruel and challenging. And we've heard just before the break that there's a backlog in terms of housing, sitting perhaps at about 2.5 million or so. So a huge amount of work needs to be done. And so what we thought we'd do is show you a little bit of perhaps what the state of housing is in South Africa. Let's take a look at this insert that's been produced for us.
These images have become so frequent. A violent cry from people in need of basic services. Many times, it's a plea to government for houses, proper sanitation, and mere running water.
I have 7 children. We all live in a 2-roomed house. We are so cramped. There are grandkids everywhere. I have more than 11 shacks. I have become a laughing stock.
We ask government to help us and give us RDP houses. We request that we be the first ones to move in.
The SABC News research team has recorded 54 of these unrests since January.
We would like to gradually apologize.
During her budget vote last year, Human Settlements Minister Lindiwe Sisulu said there had been a drastic drop in the delivery of houses in the past 5 years, urbanization being the main cause. But the department says it has provided 3.7 million housing opportunities over the past 20 years, and eligible recipients couldn't be happier.
Very excited, happy, overwhelmed, like I cannot express myself how I'm feeling now. It's like the feeling, it's so nice.
In cities, townships and rural areas, beneficiaries are growing. For millions, however, they will have to wait just a bit longer and persevere under their living conditions.
All right, so there's a sense of what's happening on the ground and the life that a lot of people are living, and everybody just wants a decent house, decent sanitation, a decent shelter that keep them warm. So, Deputy Minister, you know, you talked about dignity earlier on, and some of the images that we saw there are far from that. And I'm just wondering, you know, how do we get this job done now? DG, we talk about 2.4 million housing opportunities backlog. From that insert, we heard that we've only been able to provide 3.7 million in 20 years. If it's taken us 20 years to do 3.7, 2.8 is the backlog, and each year a number of new entrants are coming into this space. We're never going to be able to solve this.
Yes, Peter, one of the things that we need to realize as South Africans is that houses cannot be built for everybody at the same time because of financial constraints. The budget of South Africa had to do a number of things. So our portion of the budget enables us to do so much within the medium-term expenditure framework. So one of the things that we need to do is to prioritize and reprioritize what we do. For example, we are saying that even if people live in informal settlements, we must ensure that in the informal settlement there's water, there's sanitation, there's electricity. And in upgrading of informal settlements should take into account those informal settlements who are in health hazard areas, in riverbanks and in dolomitic land, so that you prioritize to get people out of the difficulty they find themselves in. And what we are saying, it is important that municipalities must work with provinces in ensuring that those areas that need urgent attention are being attended to. Because we are unable to do that at a national level. We must remember, ours to do policy and ensure implementation of what we give. Our funding, 98% of the national department's budget goes to provinces and to municipalities. So it's critical that at the end of the day, we have that working relationship, which at the moment is working very good. But at the end of the day, we are saying that citizens themselves must bring to the attention of us as government those families who are destitute, like the family that we have seen, so that we can prioritize those kinds of families in ensuring that that plight of these people is alleviated.
All right, so I know the MEC for Gauteng Housing is here. MEC Mamabula, where are you? Let's get a microphone to you and just get a sense of, because you probably have got the biggest headache in terms of human settlements of all the provinces, because everyone wants to come to Egoli. So where are we? MEC, if you could stand up so that the camera can pick you up. All right, so we've got this huge backlog. Deputy Minister is saying that, no, we are responsible for policy, but you are the one that's actually responsible for fixing the issues of these families that we've seen. Are you going to be able to get the job done? Because from what I'm seeing, you're already behind, and there's no way you can catch up at the rate that you're going now.
Thank you very much. Let me confirm that you're right. Our province of Gauteng has a unique challenge compared to other provinces. We have a big pull effect on migration into the province, and of course outside the country as well. So what we are doing as a province to speed up delivery and make sure that we address the backlog. Viewers will be aware that we have announced a vision aligned to the National Development Plan to transform, modernize, and reindustrialize our province, and within that, we have announced corridors of development driven by mega human settlement projects. That concept is based on the recognition that we need to move faster with speed and to huge human settlement developments to meet the needs that are so huge in our province. And in line with the theme of the budget speech, you may be aware that on the 7th of April, we have met with private sector property developers. We have signed about 47 pledges with partners from the private sector, all our municipalities in the province, to ensure that as government and private sector, we move with speed to create housing opportunities and meet the targets. Last week, we launched a new city in Sidibeng called Val River City, and that project is also intended to make sure that with the private sector, we move with speed to address the housing backlog. So from where we are sitting as a province, we are quite confident that moving forward in this very financial year, we will be able to meet the targets. And one thing that I want to say is, when you look at human settlement delivery targets, we shouldn't just look at government only. We have to look at what opportunities do we create working with the private sector. So the question we're raising about the last 20 years was based on just looking at government only. So the paradigm has changed, and I'm quite sure that we'll move faster and with speed to meet the existing backlog and the targets that have been set.
But why must we believe you, sir? 20 years on. You will always, the thing that we know is that we're good at planning, we're good at coming up with strategy and coming up with all these creative solutions, but somehow we don't get it done. Why must we believe you now, MEC?
I think we have demonstrated beyond doubt that the experiences of the last 20 years, and I think the DG spoke to that, make it easy for us now to be able to chart a completely new way forward as it was mentioned. So please do believe in this, because I think we have demonstrated beyond shadow of doubt our commitment to meet these targets. And as I said to you already last week, we launched one of the big projects that's going to help us to address the backlog. And I'm quite confident that based on the budget speech and what the minister said and what the DG and the Deputy Minister are saying there, you can clearly see there's a new paradigm. We have already moved a step forward, and I think there's every reason to believe that we're going to achieve these objectives. And I think we must give credit where it's due, because this new perspective clearly indicates that things are no longer going to be the same.
All right, okay. Well, we've got it all on record now, recorded live on TV, and hopefully I don't have to play this tape back for you in the future. All right, let's go to our tables now, starting at table 16. Bongikosi Dlamini is there, and your question. Table 16.
Thank you, Peter, and Deputy Minister, the DG, and all guests. Mine, Peter, to the Deputy Minister and the DG. Maybe first of all, I must really congratulate the Minister for the Budget in announcing the eradication of hostels. And also welcome the new thinking, more especially from the MEC for Housing in Gauteng, who is for the first time is prepared to listen to hostel residents. But my question is that only two questions. One is that you see the protest in Diepkloof hostel when allocation was supposed to happen. It is because people there were moved from the old hostels into temporary units. The shack that you saw that woman speaking next to it. Some of these residents have been there for more than 19 years. And when you come and allocate, you then say, do you qualify? And these people have moved in good faith to give way for development, but they are now forgotten. That's what breeds protest. Therefore, my question is, one, in the review of your crew policy, are you going to ensure that you involve hostel residents, because these are not greenfield projects? Secondly, what time frame do you give to people living in temporary shelters when you are busy upgrading? Because as far as we are concerned, I think that's why I'm saying we're here with the MEC, because hostels are not greenfield. Secondly, for me, they are just like informal settlements. All you need to do is to demolish and build RDP houses, because the pooling factors from rural areas are the same as you get in Joske. So my question is the involvement of hostel residents in redeveloping the police and the development. And secondly, for how long should people stay in these temporary shacks? Because some of them have been staying for 19 years. Thanks.
Okay, so I think both of you maybe can address that.
Thank you, Bongosi, former Member of Parliament and former member of this Housing Portfolio Committee. We just want to say that we are in the process of doing away with hostels, gradually demolishing hostels, because we believe that they don't have a space in the future. We want to have social housing instead of the hostels, so that the people who stay in the hostels, particularly who don't want to get in the hostels that have already been built, must be part of the BNG, breaking new ground, the housing units that we are building. So it's proper that we involve the hostel dwellers in those processes, so that they're part and parcel of decision making. That is the correct approach. That is why that we are saying, going forward, it's important to involve the people who matter, those people who need to be prioritized. But on the issue of Diepkloof, we have the Joburg here, who's entirely responsible for Diepkloof. I think let's give an opportunity for them to respond on this matter.
All right, okay. We're going to do that straight after this break. We're going to take another break, and we'll get a response on what happened in Diepkloof, because I guess this is symptomatic of systemic issues right across the country. All of that still to come. Stay with us.
Thank you.